Hey, what's going on? As always, 11 o'clock, time to kick off another RCS Live as we do every Thursday. Today, we're talking about GSelector 5.1, brand new features with the John Bonou, our GSelector Product Manager. How's it going, John?
Hey, Nate. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. And as always, we do my favorite pun of the week, which is we do a little housekeeping and get that out of the way. Don't forget, we're always looking for beta users for the brand new GSelector 5.2, which we'll talk about very shortly, as well as Zeta and Acquira and all of that good stuff. If you want to become a beta user, reach out to your local RCS contact. We'll put you in touch with the beta program and get your hands on the latest and greatest RCS features on there. Also, by the way, we're hitting the road once again. RCS Academy is hitting the road. That's right. CRS. That's the Country Radio Seminar. That's March 13th or 15th. We actually have the Gibson Room up north, up in the top of the Omnia. And it's awesome because we get to go and spend some time, talk about shop, right? Talk about programming, scheduling techniques, all that good stuff. If you want to reserve some time to hang out with us, all you got to do is just email marketing@rcsworks.com, or if you're there at CRS, you'll see me walking around, and then we'll just kind of chit chat and we'll schedule time and talk about whatever you want to talk about with GSelector, Zeta, Acquira, whatever you want, we'll be there. And of course, we have NAB, big things coming on the pipeline there. NRB, Momentum, all of that good stuff will be there. Also, Canadian Music Week as well. Again, taking the RCS Academy on the road. Any questions for us, we'll be there. Again, email marketing@rcsworks.com. Speaking of marketing@rcsworks.com, be part of our hashtag Studio Spotlight. Just like John has his very awesome little home studio back there. You too can showcase your home studios and your radio stations, all that good stuff. We want to showcase you as part of our hashtag Studio Spotlight. And finally, we're always hiring as well. You can go to the career page over at rcsworks.com. And don't forget, check those backups, data exchanges, beta users, as I said there as well. It's always nice to make sure those backups are working. And don't forget about the data exchange and the data exchange recovery console. We always save a backup of your GSelector database in case emergencies as well. And we've got the chat open too. I can see the chat there. Hey, Will, how's it going? Thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. So you can always go and check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter Live. If we're missing something, let us know, and we'll go from there. So let's check in now with John. We're going to talk about the brand new features in GSelector 5.1. And I know we've been teasing this for a lot. You can definitely see just visually, it's just crisper, looks really nice. And of course, I joke and say you can get the 4K TVs going and all of that good stuff. So why don't you tell us about some of your favorite new features in GSelector 5.1?
So first of all, let me say that we've done a lot of development in the past. I don't know how many months. We spend a lot of time in stuff that people cannot see. So we make the GSelector engine, the heart of GSelector, more powerful. We upgrade to some new technologies. Of course, we follow the lead of the world, so we're trying to get more and more closer to new technologies. The UI looks more crispy, let's say. We've introduced long time ago this dark theme, which you know me, I love whatever is related to dark themes.
Love dark themes.
I'm all about it. I'm all about dark themes. And of course, we introduced some cool new features that's gonna make your scheduling life and your radio life much easier out there. This has been a long time request that we introduced the custom song link window. This is like, if you ask me, this is the most powerful thing of GSelector so far. Here we can design a screen, a song or link screen, the way we love it. We have a default screen. As you see here, I have my default screen, so it almost look the same like the legacy, like what we used to have forever. But what's so powerful about the new song link form is that actually you can make it the way you like. You can make it very simple. We saw your videos the other day showing how you can create a layout from scratch.
Yep.
So
and
you
just
can make
what
it.
John's talking about, by the way, is how to add and customize a song in GSelector. We did a full breakdown of this custom song link window and how to design it from scratch. So if you're looking for a more in-depth coverage of how to do that, check out this link here. It's how to add a customize a song in GSelector. And that's also available on the RCS archive, which is here, and also the blog at rcsworks.com. Sorry, John, keep going.
No worries. So we have redesigned the whole song link window. First of all, before I scare anyone out there, if you don't like, you can always have the option to go back to the legacy. Like, we don't enforce that, we're not forcing you to use it.
Mhm.
But if you ask me, if it takes you like one day to get used to it and make it the way you like, it makes sense. um, I think the most powerful part here is the fact that you just hit the button to edit the layout, and instantly you can do whatever you want.
Mhm.
You can go ahead, for example, the artist attributes, for example, I want to say that, you know what, I don't care so much about them, so I can have them auto hide so they can go in the side. That's
Yeah.
a good example. I can have like the menus on the side, so whenever I want to touch the artist attributes, I just click it here, I fix it, and boom, it's out of my way. I have like other options, like, for example, what I really like, don't forget, I'm coming from the programming world, so
Mhm.
I was a program director before I joined RCS.
Yeah.
That means it was always a big, let's say, battle between the production, between the music directors, that, you know what, those fields should always be in before you add a song. Like, it's
Yes.
not only the artist and title and the category, but dude, you should always have, for example, the era. I'm a
Mhm.
AC station, I'm scheduling using era, I need the era to be there before you save. This is what you can do by right clicking on a field like here,
Mhm.
and you can say this is a mandatory field. In
See
this
that by
case,
arrow at the bottom left there? Yep.
yeah, bottom left here, you see I just click era, it's mandatory, and you see the small star here. So the moment I'm saving the layout, and the moment I'm trying to save a song, if era is not there, the song cannot be saved. Like, you're gonna get a nice message, hey, I need this value before I save the song. And I think this is really powerful for people out there that they say, oh, I'm missing information, oh, or I'm missing this and that. So in this way, you can enforce the other departments of the radio station to go and add your fields, and don't forget about it, and not,
Mhm.
just to say, okay, I'm gonna just add artist and title and revisit this like today or tomorrow in a month, and that never happens.
Yeah.
The
And
other
again, I was talking to shout out to John. I was talking to John yesterday. We were talking about he's got a, AAA, but this also works for gold-based classic hits and whatnot. Era was a big deal for him, and that was
yeah
one of the most prominent attributes. And so what John's doing here is saying, okay, well, if that's the most prominent attribute, and you're telling, let's say, an intern or part timer or somebody who's just filling in to add music, you can just say, hey, don't forget, this is the most important attribute for our scheduling process. Don't forget that if you don't put a value in there, you can't save the asset.
back in my radio days, I would love to have this feature. Like, when was that, like 7-8 years ago?
Don't you
Because
love that? There's so many things that when I came to RCS, I was like, man, if I was a PD, I would totally have implemented
yeah,
that back in the
I would
day.
I would just enforce like sound coded era. This was like my biggest problem, my biggest fight all day. um let's go a little bit more to the layout. The other thing I really like about the layout is that you can actually design the way you like it. For example, just very simple. This is like the edit. I can
Yep.
go edit the layout. Let's not save because I don't want to mess my database again. You know me, Nate. I'm messing up my systems very often here at RCS. The other thing I really like is that I just can grab something and drop it and make it the way I like, make it
Mhm.
small, make it big. I can dock it. I can go ahead. You know what? Like, let's dock it here. Oh, I changed my mind. This looks too ugly. Let me dock it here.
Yeah.
So I can mess up. I can make my screen, my workday screen, the way I like. I know,
Mhm.
for example, someone. I'm not gonna say names. I'm gonna say names. I know someone that he would like the idea that have all the tabs like one big screen like this, like dock
That's
everything in
fair.
one.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah, that's fair.
I know someone. I'm gonna send greetings to my friends to Cyprus today, but I'm not gonna say who like that. Someone would love
Look at all
a
those
huge screen like
tabs.
this, a big screen like this, and then it's okay. I'm going from tab main to additional. Follow the tabs.
It
Go
it
one
does
tab after.
kinda make sense, like, it's like a Chrome kinda tab window. I can see it. I can see it. I never thought about that. See,
You
this is
know,
why I love having you on, John.
it's like creating a process. You always go from tab 1 to 3 to 4 to 5. So,
Yeah?
first I add my main, and then I add my additional, and then, for example, let's see, like, then I add my artist. You see, I can even go drag and drop the tabs. I can change the
That's
tab order here, and then it's okay. So it's actually, you create your own workflow. You can
that's
create a
interesting.
workflow using the song link tab in this case. The
That's
other thing I
interesting. Wow.
Yeah, you can just go on the tabs and pop one workflow after the other. You know what? This is how I want to do it today. Um, so something else I really really like here is the fact that you can even go and change the order, customize what's inside the tab itself. So for example, no, I don't care about complete work. This is at the end of my list. First, I want to do
Mm-hmm.
my artist because I'm from Europe and we always do artist title. First, I want to add my artist, then my title. Then I care about the media ID because I have like a third party system, and
Mm-hmm.
then I care about the rest. So you can customize even inside the tab itself.
Yeah.
Like you're not only limited to customizing the tabs, but you can customize everything, like
Mm-hmm.
literally everything you want.
That's so cool. That's
Or you
awesome.
can just remove everything and end up like I thought about it. Like this was a case of me. Like I had like someone doing research in my station, and I want to check the history of the song, or I just want to see the research. So you can have a layout per user. You can have a layout for a user that only wants to see the history of a song, or a user or someone that wants to see like the future moves, or someone that wants to see on the history, what happened to the history of the song.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea here is that everything is so powerful that you can do the way you want it.
And I know we've done past videos on talking about multi-station. If that's a big thing for you, you can essentially have two different layouts, one for a single, one for a multi-station layout to add, an attribute across the board. Me personally, John, I would absolutely, if it was me, that history window would be like 75% of that screen.
Yeah.
That's what I would do personally. I would have nice attributes on the left, big giant history, and that change history there at the top two. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Um,
let's not forget we have people with still working with two screens or 4K screens. The
that's
whole
true. Yeah,
thing,
true, true, yeah.
the whole thing is going to adjust on your needs in this case. For example, I'm too blind to work on a 4K screen. I'm running on an HD screen, works fine. If I switch on another resolution, it's gonna like scale the way it should.
Speaking
Um,
of scaling, John, do you want to just get some other features in here? Do you want to talk about the icon size?
Yeah, like that's something else we introduce here. This is in general when we start fixing the UI, like the user experience in GSelector, we decide that we should consider about people that using different resolutions or different styles.
Hmm.
So if we go right now in appearances and go in style, first of all, now we decide
Is your light and dark?
to focus on the light and the dark theme. We try to make them perfect. So we decide to focus on two themes instead
Hmm.
of having 100 different themes. That we got the feedback from you people out there that those are the themes you most use.
Hmm.
But also we decide to play a little bit with the icons. Our new icons are fully adjustable,
Yeah.
so I can just go ahead and do a 32 size on the icons, and you
Oh,
see pop the system will adjust automatically. Some people like icons, some people don't like icons. I like big icons so my eyes can see. As
I'm
I
with you.
mentioned, I'm blind. We're not wearing glasses. I refuse to wear glasses. So everything should look
Wait a
big
second.
on
I'm
my
blind. I'm
screen.
wearing contacts.
You see, looks better. The other thing, I want to leave a little bit the song link form because I know
Okay.
you've done many stuff here. But if you people have any ideas or you want to ask something, we are here for you. But I
Mhm.
just want everyone wants to keep in mind that this window can be totally adjusted. You can do whatever you want. You can even create workflows. Like that was the idea, that you can create a workflow. You say the production is gonna add the song, so the production has the production layout, which has
Mhm.
all the mandatory fields. Then the music director has more fields, and then you can even create a profile if you have like a research department of your station that does all the research, that they only deal with research.
Oh.
So each of the
Mhm.
department has its own layout, so the life it's easier. You create like workflows in your station.
I never. That's a good point, John. And remind me, the layouts are user specific.
Yep.
So what you can do is, to your point, you have one GSelector database. You have, we'll just say three users. We'll say the production director, then John's the PD, and I'm the research guy. Each one of those layouts can be specific. So the production director would just have a simple, just boom, boom, boom. Here's the simple metadata it's required. You got to
Yep.
save it. You have then the John's, I would say the John special sauce where you can put in those attributes where you wanted to. And then I can maybe go in there and see, well, I'm just about researching and adding in research metadata in there. And I
Yep.
have nothing but research columns across the board. That's a really good point. And again, you're identifying workflows every user step in the process.
Yeah, and then if we can go a little bit deeper in using the user rights, then we can go ahead and actually block layouts. And
Mm.
this makes things way more interesting. I'm telling you, like, people out there should think that this whole thing, it's like, I think it's a game changer right now.
It's great. I've been loving it.
Another game changer we introduced, and I'd like to show you. You all know out there that GSelector, we handle audio. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
when I say handle audio, we have the player. Especially if you're integrated with Zeta, we have the Zeta Stream
Mhm.
player. That means you can make amazing things by protecting your audio store. But also, pretty well, we have the option to analyze a song. We have the song analysis.
Mhm.
This was like first introduced like the early days of GSelector, but what most people said, guys, we want to have a big picture. We want to be able to see many songs in the song analysis, or we want to go ahead and analyze the A category. So we can go to now. If you go to multi-song changer, we
Okay.
introduced a brand new tab called audio analysis. And in this case here, you can just see whatever you have multi-select on your library. In my
Yep.
case, I've selected my whole library here.
Yep.
So you can now see here that you can go ahead and not only do a mass analysis, but you can go and fine-tune the values you get from the analysis.
Yeah,
So
that's big deal.
this is like a secondary inline edit, but it's way more powerful because in my case
Mm.
here, I can go hit the analysis button, and all the songs I have here, the GSelector is gonna pick from the file name and go
Mhm.
analyze the song and produce for you the BPM, in, out, overall energy, tempo, texture, intros, runtimes, opening, ending, everything. And of course, we introduced the option here. You can now even hide columns. You can do some sorting. We introduce all these nice things around this window here.
Hey, John, quick question here coming in from Jean Baptiste. He's saying, "Hi, everyone. Quick question: is it possible to lock an attribute, like not possible to delete it, the same way we can put an attribute as mandatory?"
That's actually a good idea. We don't have this option right now, but this is food for thought. Thank you. I will really take this in consideration.
Yeah, if you give us an example, Jean Baptiste, and let us know kind of like how you would interpret that.
I think what our friend here wants to say is that when someone, for example, let's say the production studio added the media ID just to make sure that
Mhm.
nobody else can delete, for example, this media ID. It's protected
Oh, the
fields.
value
I
inside of it. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I
Okay.
understand I understand the case. We don't support this right now, but this is a really good idea. We can
Because
we
it's
can
all or nothing, right? 'Cause they can make edits, but they can't make edits. But essentially, what the idea is, you can right click and say this is a locked value inside of the field.
exactly.
I got
And
you.
then
Good
but
suggestion,
that's
John.
that's a good idea actually. I really like the idea. I will add on my notes for the future
Look at
versions.
that, Jean Baptiste. Ask and he will. It gets
Yeah.
added to the list. That's why John's on here. It's great.
um so this is the concept here from the multi analysis. It's you have a big screen of your database, it's a big screen of the audio, so you know exactly what's going on in your library. And of course, in 5.1, Nate, we introduced more jobs. I know people are
Love jobs.
getting like crazy about jobs. I got so much good feedback and some really good ideas about new jobs. So if I go now in configuration, leaks where this is where we launch our jobs. Some people ask me, by the way, why do we have the service heartbeat? I recommend that you don't deactivate this. This is just checking that your whole system is healthy. This is a healthy checker of your system. So we used to have the standard, the check publication status. We had the backup job, which is one of our first jobs. We introduced housekeeping lately, which, if you ask me, it's great because
Oh, it's
you can
awesome.
just schedule housekeeping any time of the week. So yeah, I don't use the plus button. I'm more, old fashioned, so I'm using my mouse. So
Ah,
now,
I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah, right
yeah,
click
and
and
we
just
hey, we still support the old fashioned selector way, like insert on the keyboard, and you can go ahead and add a
All
job.
right, let's
Which
not go down the version 12 route, but yeah.
so something. If you ask me, the more serious jobs we introduced between 4.9 and 5.1, we have a traffic integration job for non-Zeta users or for people that they want to integrate traffic automatically using GSelector for any reason. But if you ask me, the most important for safety is the data exchange job. Because as
Mm,
you mentioned before in the beginning of the call, it's good to send data exchange to yourself so you can keep a backup of your database here and there.
a third party
But
backup.
Yeah, what because we've seen bad things happening in the world nowadays. We've seen like radio stations getting in trouble. That's why, of course, we have the disaster recovery. So think
Hmm.
about this as part of your GSelector recovery. Okay, in this case, you can schedule a data exchange in specific time of the day or the week. So you can say, you know what, every Friday night, once we're done with job, send a data exchange to myself, or send a data exchange to a consultant or somewhere. For example, I know in Europe, the guys every 2 weeks when they receive their research results, they share the database with a consultant. This can be done automatically, so you don't
Yeah,
forget to send the
that's a
database
good point.
somewhere. Of course, we follow the same rules. That means you don't have to send the whole state, the whole enterprise, the
Hmm.
whole 200 stations.
Station versus
You
enterprise.
you have still the option here. I can show you like really quick. You still have the option to um where are we? Ooh, data exchange. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting blind. You know me. So you still have the option here to specify the same thing. Like you can send previous backup, you can
Yep.
stations, or you can send schedule.
I was going to say the schedules. I was going to hint at. Yeah, yeah. That's good for
So
consultants too, by the way.
yeah, and of course, like anything else, you can create specific jobs for each station. For example, for my station A
Yep.
here,
And
I
Christina, I see your. Keep going, John. But Christina, I see your comment. That's a great one. I want to have John's opinion, but give me a couple of seconds to have John finish his jobs point.
Yeah. So here, for example, I can create a job that I want to send a backup of RCS alternative, and then I could clone and create another job that I want to send only the schedule. So this is really powerful and really flexible. You can do whatever you have in mind. And the second job that I find it very useful, I know that people with Zeta here probably will think that it's not so, but I still love it. It's the generate schedule. This is
Hmm.
like, if you ask me, I think that everyone should have this job running on his system automatically, because what this job does, in case you forgot to schedule, the system will automatically go and generate schedule for you.
Yeah.
And I know that I know that we have some people here saying, "Oh, I forgot," or even what's the most powerful about thing? Um, what the job does, it's actually pressing the schedule button. Okay,
Yeah. Which is you just
so
why? Yeah. Schedule that.
no, but this is more powerful than you think. For example, I had cases that people forgot to schedule the links
Hmm.
because just because
Yeah.
they
They schedule the
because they
songs. They
schedule
have the filter
because
in the
schedule
editor. Yeah. Okay.
because they first schedule the songs and then the links. So this thing here, you can actually specify, for example, from my RSS alternative song, I want to go push the schedule button for everything. So what the system will do, even if you schedule, just in case, it will hit the schedule button, and again, if there is something unscheduled, it will go and schedule.
Yeah.
This is not reschedule. Is not going to remove your old schedule. It will just like pressing the schedule button, and if there is anything unscheduled position, it will go ahead and schedule it. If there is no log at all, it will schedule. If you by accident double click on a day and you just open the day without having
Hmm.
anything, all position on schedule, it will go ahead and schedule.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, this is a great protection mechanism for accidents,
Another
because
great point.
yeah, this is because in RCS we all want to be like, we're gonna be safe and we're gonna make sure that we have no accidents and no dead there.
Yeah.
And again, you have all the options here. You can even export. So for people who are not using Zeta and using like flat files, you can just
Mhm.
go ahead, generate exports automatically. And this is another cool feature we have so far.
That's really cool. And again, as John's point, he was saying for redundancy, if the log is scheduled, we'll never unschedule and reschedule the log. If you just reschedule and it's there, then it's there. It's not going to do anything. So it's just a kind of a backup plan in case you need it.
And you can see
Um,
like like as I mentioned before, like here I have the example. I just opened the day. There is no schedule. So
mhm.
if this log goes on the air, guess what's gonna happen? Nothing's gonna play.
Yeah. So, but it's a backup. So you just say 5 o'clock, make sure there's a schedule there. Done.
Exactly.
All
Let
right,
me
John.
answer on the question here. You want me to go
Yeah.
ahead?
Yeah. I
Um,
was gonna put you on the spot here with Christina. All right. You ready?
Yeah, actually, it's a good idea. We don't have an implementation yet. I've heard this back in the days, mostly from European clients. So what they want to do, it's like they want to keep a balance on the
Mhm.
of their categories. So in case like this balance change, they want to get a warning. And I can say that this is really good food for thought too. This goes also on my list.
So essentially, the idea would be is if you want to have a balance, library, and that's the goals and balance and all of that. And of course, it would just be any attribute. Obviously, we say 70s and 80s, but that would be whatever value you'd want in theory.
Rock song, pop songs, and
Yeah,
everything.
you can just say,
So
hey, here's a limit on X, Y, and Z. Make sure the balance is there, whatever it is.
yeah,
Interesting stuff, Christina.
yeah, this is interesting because I've heard this thing like back in the days while I was in Europe, traveling in Europe. Like people say, okay, I want to play only, or there are regulations in most of the countries. Like for example, in France, they say you need to play X amount percentage of French song, and they want to have a warning if this balance goes out. They want to get a warning that hey, your threshold of 30% is not there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's dynamic statistics that you can kind of do right now to
Yeah.
kind of do a workaround. I get that, but
Hmm.
getting to John's point with the custom song link window, if there's a workflow you're creating ahead of that programming air chain, that's something you can do. If there's a user who's adding, something in there, they can say, "Hey, this attribute is it's going to cause a violation on whatever it is," that type of thing.
Yep.
Interesting stuff, Christina. I like it. So we're on kind of like a little bit of a delay here, John. So what I'm going to do is for everybody, if you have a question for John, our GSelector Product Manager, now's the time to ask it because he's just a wealth of information. He's got some great scheduling techniques for you as well. So as you can see so far from Jean Baptiste and Christina, some great questions. Will, if you got something in there, John, if you got something in there as well, let me know. Get your questions in now. I'm purposely stalling for time. And speaking of stalling for time, as I said earlier at the very top of this session, we're always looking for beta users, especially for GSelector 5.2. Now, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here, John. You don't have to show anything. All
I'm
right.
not gonna
I
share
know
anything
they're,
because I have to say that we're gonna do like some really great things in 5.2. 5.2 is
yeah.
still under development. We decided to extend a little bit our 5.2 just because we would like to introduce some new coding technologies and some
Yeah.
new testing mechanisms to make our software like better. But they also we decided to introduce some really good new enhancements. I want to say people like they shouldn't be afraid of the beta phase. Beta phase is actually better for you because this is your chance to raise your voice. This is your chance to say something to the company. When you're a beta tester, you always and you test something new. Trust me, when you find a problem, the response you're gonna get is gonna be really fast, like instant, because this is what we do with the beta testers. Like when someone says, oh, I clicked here and I think it's not nice, this is a response goes directly to us in the development, and we have a better idea of what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you should definitely not be afraid of the beta phase. If you actually, when I was a client, I was always getting beta versions because I always want to be the first one looking on the feature and be able, to say my opinion about it.
Yeah. I wonder if there's one again, last call for questions for John here as you wrap up. What is I'm trying to think of a feature because I know when there's a Nate feature in there that I absolutely love. But what's one little teaser feature that maybe you want to share? Now, I'm putting you on the spot here.
My favorite one. You put me on the spot now because I have to say that we've done a lot of work around our API. Like we've done some
Mm,
magical stuff there, like unexpected stuff there. Um, you know
that's
what?
a good teaser. That's a good teaser because there's a lot of cool things you can do. And by the way, we did the video last week with Mike Pfeiffer from RCS Asia Pac, and we talked about kind of very initial teaser of those APIs. You can check that on our archive, rcsworks.com/rcs-live, or the blog section. You can see it right up on there too. And it's you're right. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with APIs, and
Yep.
especially where radio is going these days. That is talk about a teaser, John. That's very much the tip of the iceberg
I
when
mean,
there's
I
less.
mean, I mean, we've done more things. 5.2. I just want to give people a bit the idea. I know we're taking some important time here, but I want to say that 5.2 version 5.2 has been like let's say milestone. Like we've done some very nice coding techniques, and also we take in consideration how the software is scaling, and we take in consideration like big groups I don't even know what to say anymore.
I like
Like,
you're putting the fork in there, saying like this is the 4-3-3, this is the 4-5 build, stuff like that. Back in the day, I know what you're saying.
I
One
mean,
last, go ahead.
think about that the 5.2 we took a lot in consideration of big databases. Like if you have like more than one station and you want to share things and move things around and do things, I have to say that this was like probably the biggest consideration in 5.2.
Nice. One last question here from Jean Baptiste. He was saying, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer and would ask anyway, though, but do you work on video integration?
We actually introduced some video functionality in GSelector. There was some requests to deal with frames and everything. This is something we've done in 5.2. Okay, I'll give you the last tip. I haven't said
We
anyone.
got him. We got him. We got
I
enough
haven't said
crying.
I haven't said anyone about it. Like nobody knows. But we introduced a new scheduling technique in 5.2 that is gonna
Ooh.
make more people happy, and it's gonna resolve the complaint that the song is playing on the same quarter of the hour all the time.
There you go.
I'm not saying
There's
anything else.
that's all I'm gonna say about that. See, Jean Baptiste, you got him. We broke him. We just had to keep asking enough questions, and we finally broke him. John, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. Of course, you can check out our full archive over at rcsworks.com/rcs-live or the blog section there. As John said, if you want to get your hands on being a beta user on GSelector 5.2, reach out to your local RCS contact. We'll put you in touch and get your hands on there too. Don't forget your backups, all that good stuff. And again, we're going to be live on the road with RCS2. One last graphic here just to show you here, because again, it's coming up quicker than you realize for CRS, NAB, and all that good stuff. If you want to schedule some time to talk about, anyone talk about any product with RCS, we're here to help out as we take RCS Academy on the road. John, phenomenal as always. Thank you for your mind, your scheduling techniques. We'll see you soon. Don't worry. And I'll catch everybody else next Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time for another RCS Live.